Alright guys, I just finished putting together this challenge lock. Plan on sending this out to BosnianBill here in a few days. I just wanted to go ahead and take the time to get it picked on camera, just to prove that it is possible. Although of course, I put it together so I know exactly where everything is, so it doesn't really count if I pick it. But alright, pin 3, pin 2, click on both. Alright, let me get another pick for pin 4. Now this is the first challenge lock that I made specifically to send to Bill. So I'm not making this one too crazy. There's no like trap pins or split cores or anything weird like that. But what I did do, something I haven't seen before, is I bored out chamber 4 for the key pin, so that instead of writing on the top piece of warding like the normal pins in this lock do, it now writes on this bottom piece of warding, which makes it so far down in the keyway that you have to kind of play around with different picks. There's hook 7 essentially cuts the lock in half. So you have the 3 pins in front and then the 2 pins in back. And then you have to kind of work under pin 4 every time you want to manipulate the back pins. So it's difficult, but not impossible. And the feedback in this thing is so subtle that I can't tell if I'm just getting rotation on the core from the pick pushing upwards on it, or if it's actual feedback from the pins. Alright, I'm going to leave those alone for now and check number 4 again. Another thing about number 4 is it's hollow on the bottom, so it's really tough to get a pick under. And that chamber is counter milled in top and bottom, and of course a spool driver, just to add to the evilness of the lock. Alright, that's pin 2. I did pick this once off camera, fully pinned, but I didn't really pay enough attention to the binding order, so I'm kind of guessing right now. But if I remember correctly, pin 2 was the last pin that I had to pick. I think number 4 and 5 were right before number 2. I'm not getting any feedback at all on 6. I'm not sure what's up with that. I don't even feel it back there. In pin 5, I have a ball bearing in under. So that one's hard to get on without slipping off. Alright, that's 6 there. Alright, I feel the serrations on 6. It's a serrated driver pin and a threaded chamber, top and bottom. So the feedback is unmistakable on number 6. Alright, yeah, I'm getting the binding order all mixed up, so I keep having to reset the same pins over and over. And all of the key pins have been modified quite a bit. And some of them, especially pin 4, are kind of delicate. So I really don't want to pick too much on this thing, because I don't want to damage them. Although I guess it's not that much of a big deal if I have to remake them, since I don't have a key for this yet. I had to order more key blanks, because I apparently don't have any AR4s. I have a bunch of AR1s, but this is a 6-pin lock, And I already have to file down part of the front of the key just to get it to fit under pin 4. And I'll show you that later. If I actually get the thing open, I'll gut it just to show what everything looks like in there. Alright, pin 2 again. I must not have pin 4 set. That's the only way that I keep dropping things is this is pin 4, this isn't all the way. Alright, maybe that's pin 4. Let's try 2 again. Back to 3. And you may have noticed that I'm completely ignoring pin 1. That's because that is a 0 cut pin. And it's also a reduced diameter and spool on the top with a the countermill chamber in the Bible. So that's sort of the closest thing to a trap pin in this lock. And it's got an extremely light spool, or sorry, light spring in the number 1 chamber. So it's really easy to overset that pin. Alright, that had to be pin 5. Alright, I'm getting really close now. Very deep false set. Alright, here we go on 2. It sounds like I'm dropping stuff, but I might be getting close to the end here. Try to get into 3. 3's got me set. Let me check 5 again. Check 4 on the way. 4 is not moving. Yeah, check 5 and 6. Alright, there's a little click on 6, which is serrated, so that's probably a good sign. Alright, I'm not sure what just happened there. Pin 5, I actually measured pins 4 and 5 just right so they would fit a Peterson hook 7, which is what this is. So I have to be just centered on the bottom of pin 5, which is actually ball bearing, to not overset pin 6 or pin 4 when I'm underneath it. Although SS Dev hook would probably be more proper for that, but that's just the pin or the pick I use to measure. Alright, let me go with 15 thousandths again to try to get. I really can't tell if pin 4 is giving me feedback or not. Alright, maybe that was set on pin 4, it was set on something. Go back to 2. I keep checking 2 because I'm pretty sure that's my gatekeeper. Alright. I keep tapping the Bible just in case I have pins 6 or 1 overset. Those are both the T key pins. Alright, keep getting clicks on 6. It stopped clicking, so maybe that's set. Alright, I dropped something there. 5 is rotating. Alright. Back into deep false set. It's only like 2 deep spools in this thing. I just can't remember exactly which chambers they're in. 2 obviously is a deep one. Oh shit, there it is. Alright, 10 minutes. Let me cut this thing real quick. Alright. Device out of the way. Make sure this stays on camera. And some light in here. Alright. Like I said, I don't have a key for it. I have this key here. I'll show you what that is in a second. But gotta be careful not to relock this as I take this off. Lost my C-clip. Alright. It's not so much craziness that I have to use a shim. Maybe it is. Oh, you son of a bitch. Can I drop a spring in there? I don't know why that's so tight. Alright, there's no funny business in there. I'm not sure why that's holding up. Let's see if I can get a different follower. Alright, there we go. I don't know why that didn't work. Okay, let's get it a little bit closer. Start double pins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alright, tweezers here. Alright, and that's still upside down. And let's get the top pins. Make sure I have enough room to work here. Alright, there's number 1. That's the really light spring that I mentioned. Number 2. Yeah, that's that super deep spool, but I gave me the counter rotation on that last pin, and I forgot that doubled spring. That's why number 2 kept dropping. And then number 3. Number 6. What is that? It's some plastic from the other follower. Yeah, I don't know why that got hung up like that. It's my standard follower. It should work just fine on arrows. Oops, I don't know what I'm doing here. Alright, get out of there. Alright, if you're wondering about the tape on the bottom of the cylinder here, you can see the 2 cuts in the bottom. It's actually a shim. I taped a shim to the bottom with some gaffer's tape, but I had to get in there to undercut chamber 1 and chamber 4. And then yeah, that's chamber 1, chamber 4, and then chamber 6 is spooled or serrated, threaded, whatever. And then on the plug, undercut on 4. It's reamed out on 2 and then threaded on 6. And then you can see in the bottom there, number 4 is drilled all the way down, and I'll show you that real quick. I'm already at 15 minutes. Gotta hurry up. You can see inside the lock how far down number 4 sits, as opposed to, say, number 1. It sits on that top warding, and then number 4 hangs all the way down to the bottom warding, effectively splitting the plug in two, making so you have to pick it in 2 parts. And also, you can see how deep that pin sits in there. And I'll take the shortest pin in the lock and put it in the standard chamber right next to it. You can see they're sitting at almost the same level. So you have the longest pin and the shortest pin in the lock. And then if you put it to a standard chamber, that would be a 0 lift pin, so that's the tallest pin that I could find. There we go. This is standard AR keyway. Pretty wide open, but I have a bunch of these arrow kick cylinders sitting around, so I figured it'd be a good one to make a first challenge lock with. I got a few Sargent and Corbins and Rust ones that I plan on making other challenge locks out of. But here we go, close up on the pins. You can see chambers 1 and 6 are basically the same pins. They're reduced diameter at the top and then spooled. Pin 5 is a very short pin. It's kind of rounded out at the bottom to accept the ball bearing, because I know ball bearings are one of Bill's weaknesses. And then spooled on top. They're all spooled on top. Pin 4 is the very deep torpedo pin, and like I said, it's completely hollow. So when you try to pick that, the pin or the pick just kind of goes inside, and it's tough to get a good grip on that pin. Pin 3 is just a very short pin with a very deep spool. Pin 2, I was kind of playing around with a couple of ideas, and I came up with something kind of like the munitions pins. Then pin 1 is a standard pin. I just kind of rounded off the bottom a little bit so it wouldn't interfere with the counter milling in the top chamber. And you see pin 1, like I mentioned, pin 1 is basically 0 cut. I keep hitting the camera here, sorry about that. Basically 0 cut, and I rounded the top pin so it kind of rides on there. The idea is that Bill won't know that that's a 0 cut pin. And this spring up here is so soft that he will overset this, and then it will get caught in the counter milling in that top chamber. That's the idea. Alright, then here just another deep spool in chamber 2, double step spool in chamber 3, similar in chamber 4, just slightly different shape. Chamber 5, very deep reduced spool, sort of serrated spool. And number 6 is a serrated pin in the 1 threaded chamber. And I'll show you the way that I'm going to have to do the key. Like I said, I don't have a key that works with these pins. I haven't keyed this up yet. But what I had to do was modify a standard arrow key. I don't have a regular one, but I had to file it down on the front so that it would actually fit underneath pin 4. Otherwise, it just kind of runs right into it. So I had to completely file down the first pin cut. So this looks like it has 5 cuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. It used to be a 6 pin. It's an AR4, not an AR1. So I'm going to have to definitely get another AR4, cut it just like this, and then cut back the shoulder. And that's the only way I'm going to be able to get a pin or a key that's long enough to fit in this lock and still reach under pin 4. Alright, that's it. We're at 20 minutes already. This is my alien technology heading towards BosnianBill as soon as I get my key blanks in and I can key this thing up. Picked on camera and gutted. Thanks for watching.